Welcome to Sun City News. I'm your host, Norma Taylor, and here are some of the stories we have on the agenda for this week's show. Georgia Lash attended the Staying Connected Volunteer Appreciation Party. Kathy Salkowitz reports on the Ballroom Dance Club's open house. Sun City News starts now.
This is Sun City News, with our news team bringing you stories from Sun City and the Low Country, taking the lead with entertainment news. And on deck is our sports report. Sun City News, from people you know, about people you know. This week's SCTV News starts now.
Staying Connected honors its volunteers with an appreciation picnic dinner. SCTV stopped in to meet with some of the people involved.
Tom, we have a very special evening here in Pinckney Hall tonight. Staying Connected is honoring your volunteers. How are you going to celebrate?
Well, we're celebrating by hosting a catered meal, a catered picnic supper actually, for close to 200 of our volunteers. And then after we've had enough to eat, we're going to go ahead and play the Family Feud.
I don't think there'll be any feuding among your volunteers because you're all in such a common mission. And I think it's important that maybe we stop here a moment and remind everyone what that mission of Staying Connected is, especially for our new residents that may not have heard of it.
Okay, Staying Connected is an all-volunteer organization here in Sun City that is intended to help people stay safely in their homes. We do transportation for doctor appointments and groceries. We do basic home maintenance, changing your light bulbs and smoke alarms. We do home visits. We do reassuring calls every morning for people to make sure that they're awake and they're okay and they're safe. We do caregiver relief, so that if you're caring for a spouse and you need to go out and play a game of mahjong or 9 holes of golf, we will send somebody over to sit with that spouse and take care of them. In addition to that, we now have a lending closet where we're lending out durable medical equipment to people. We deliver it, we pick up their donations, and then we deliver as they need it.
I don't think there's enough appreciation we can give to your organization, and it's so nice that you're honoring your volunteers. Thank you for letting us stop in to see this.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Jim, we have already talked to Tom about the mission of Staying Connected and the celebration that you're having tonight for your volunteers. How many volunteers are on your roster?
We have over 300 volunteers on our roster.
And I have a feeling that is there another great need for securing more volunteers?
Always. We have 300 volunteers serving over 800 members, residents within Sun City. And in many of the areas, the demand for our services just keep increasing and increasing. The primary one we're struggling with is transportation. Last week we did almost 70 transports to doctors and to grocery stores. And some of our volunteers are doing 2 and 3 trips a week in order to cover all those trips. So we could always use more transportation drivers.
Now, if a person listening to this would like to participate as a volunteer, what's their best process?
Go to our website, stayingconnected.schh.org, and they can fill out an application to be a volunteer right on there, and we'll get you right into the system.
And I'm guessing that the time is flexible. They can take a few minutes, they can take more time if they need to, so that they can accommodate their lifestyle as well as helping others.
That's right. That's one of the things our volunteers really enjoy about their opportunities with us is it's totally based on their schedule and their availability. So they can take an assignment based on, well, I'm free on Tuesday, I can do something then. And that's.
And again, I was saying this is something that we all thank you for doing, stepping in and helping our residents.
We all enjoy it. We really enjoy it.
It is a privilege to be here this evening as Staying Connected honors its volunteers. We're going to speak to some of them and what motivates them to become a volunteer for Staying Connected and help our Sun City neighbors.
So the reason I started volunteering with Staying Connected was because I moved down here and had been a caregiver for my mom, and I missed helping her out. And so this was one of the ways to pay back down here so that instead of taking care of my mom up north.
Hi, I'm Sue Howell, and I am a transportation volunteer for Staying Connected. And I drive because I enjoy giving back to Sun City and people in Sun City. and I love talking to people and hearing their stories.
Hi, my name is Catherine Allen Tolstra, and staying connected is one of the reasons that we moved to Sun City. My mom is in Vancouver, British Columbia. I cannot help her. So I'm here to help the mothers that don't have their daughters close by. And I hope I do it as long as I live. Thank you for the time.
Hi, I'm Kate.
I'm Tim.
We're Staying Connected volunteers, and we both drive. And for me, the reason I do that is I understand that some people just can't get to their appointments, their medical appointments, get their groceries. And I think it's only right that someone take them to be able to do that. And someday that's going to be me, and I'm going to need that service. So I'm very grateful to Staying Connected for the opportunity to do this for them.
And we've been doing this for 10 years since it started.
I'm Joan Turner. The reason I decided to volunteer for Staying Connected is because I just think we need to give back. I was a volunteer during my working time as my Girl Scout leader for 13 years, and that was every Tuesday. This is fantastic. I can do as little or as much as I want, which is what I love, but it's also for a selfish reason. I want this organization to be around when I need it, and hopefully it will be.
Our reporter Kathy Salkowitz attended the open house and met with Myra Mastriani, second VP of the Ballroom Dance Club, where a variety of dances are taught and enjoyed nearly every day of the week.
Oh, we dance almost every night of the week, but every Friday night the ballroom group meets here on Friday to have a lesson. So we don't have it every week, but we have them most weeks. And then we have open dancing for members and newcomers. And we are here from 7 to 9:45 on Friday nights. And then, but we have other things at our ballroom club. We have 3 different SIGs that are a part of our ballroom club. And that is a Latin SIG that meets on Tuesday afternoon from 2 to 4 at the Lake House Ballroom. And a SIG group that meets on Wednesday evenings at the Lake House as from about 7 to 8 or maybe a little later. And then on Sunday nights, this is our new SIG. It started last year. It is our country two-step swing group that meets at Hidden Cypress on Sunday nights from 7 to 8-ish. And we also, because we have lessons here on Friday night, we try to follow that up with a little bit of a review on Saturday. So it's Saturday at 1 o'clock. We have a group that meets at Purrisburg at the floor in there at Purrisburg. And then they also meet there on Monday night for a beginner's lesson. So that, like I said, we dance almost every night. You can always go to Sensations and look under the club's area and find Ballroom Club, because we'll have some phone numbers of people that you can call. But you can also, we have this wonderful brochure, and you can contact us on our email account, which is Ballroom Dance Club of SCHH@gmail.com.
And you walk under the arm. How many steps?
3.
Quick, slow. 6 steps. Let's go and join us at me, girls. Quick, slow. Quick, slow. Walk. Go back to him, he finds you, and you start the box again. Quick, slow. Quick, do another box. Quick, slow. Quick, let's do 4 cucarachas. There's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Do the box, just the box.
Still more to come. Georgia Lash attended the recent Meet the Author event. We catch up with Second Helpings and the Low Country Pickleball Leagues. So stay with us. We'll return after this brief break.
Looking for a book that begs to be read? Look no further. Each month, our Lifestyles Department hosts an author to appear at the Meet the Author event. Now, these events are free and they're scheduled at 6 p.m. on a varying date basis. Now, at each of these events, I'm lucky enough to sit down with the featured author to learn the backstory of their story. The interview is added to excerpts of the author's presentation and recapped for you as our SCTV Meet the Author monthly show. On cable, you can view Meet the Author show 5 times daily, or log into our Sun City YouTube channel to view Meet the Author at your convenience. Tune in and open a new chapter in your literary pursuits. Sun City TV invites you to join our crew. Our growing technology presence requires enthusiastic, creative volunteers. No previous TV experience needed. Email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com.
Georgia Lash met with MG John F. Hussey, author of Inside the Wire, at the recent Meet the Author event.
John, we always like to start with having our authors give a description of the book that you've brought. So in this case, we've got Inside the Wire. So what should a prospective reader know about your book?
So it's really an inside look at the most difficult job of doing detention operations. A lot of people in this country refer to it as POW, prisoner of war. The doctrine's kind of changed. We call it the EPW, enemy prisoners of war. And I think America really came to understand, probably during the Vietnam War, about POWs, but particularly in the Iraq War when we had the fiasco with Abu Ghraib, the mistreatment of fellow humans, the detainees, and because Guantanamo Bay has been in the news for an extremely long time. So I speak about, how difficult it can be, because it's funny, I went to one conference and I meet this major general, and I was a major general. He said, "Oh, thank God my MPs are here. We've got this problem taken care of." And I said, "No." I said, "I'm going to need your engineers, your lawyers, your doctor, your logisticians, your environmentalists, your aviation assets." And he looked at me. I said, "No, this is a big job. This sometimes can become a city within a city. And it's just not about MPs. It's all the logistics that go into this." And then you have basically international organizations, International Committee of the Red Cross, non-governmental organizations, religious organizations, political organizations. For example, when we were in Afghanistan, a Russian delegation came over to meet one of their prisoners. It becomes extremely political. And I'll just end with this. Most people don't realize that the Korean War probably could have ended after about 18 months, but it dragged on another 18 months because of the POW issue and the fact that the Chinese and North Koreans didn't want to go back, and their government said, "No, we're taking them back." So the war extended just on that facet alone, prisoner of wars.
What's one thought you hope every one of your readers leaves with?
Well, I have a couple, but one big one now is, particularly in this war, what's called the global war on terror, is we've had so many young men and women do multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And one day there's going to be a nice memorial for them, okay? And to me, deservedly so. But the people that really deserve the accolades, in my opinion, are the spouses and the family members that stayed behind and supported this for 3 tours, 4 tours. And then when some of their loved ones came back with visible wounds, i.e. maybe lost a leg or an arm, but the invisible wounds, because we've seen that on 60 Minutes. I saw an episode with dad came back an alcoholic and sat in the dark. So I really want the audience to appreciate what these families went through for 20 years. And I'd never be, you talk about a magnificent career. I had great mentorship, and I just spoke about that in my 2 trips, and that's why I went, because it was people that mentored me that asked me to come speak. But I spoke about the family members and the fact that, the mentorship that I received, and that's what I'm trying to do here too, is because I'm in the Old General's nursing home right now, and I realize that. But there's young men and women that are going to be in these positions. So this is a book for them that if they get called upon, can pick up the book and say, "Hey, what did Hussey learn here?" And again, I told you before we went on air, a lot of people contributed to the last chapter, the 50 tidbits to get you by when you have to set up one of these camps quickly.
I thought that was, again, very generous of you to make sure that you're leaving a legacy that people can follow and hopefully not get into those problems that they did. I have to ask you, how was your experience with Peter Jennings?
Oh, let me tell you.
Journalist.
Let me tell you, and I talk about this. There's a certain amount of animosity, I'd say, between law enforcement and the media. And the same with the military. And I had that bias. Peter Jennings could not have been more of a gentleman. He came in And all you want, just like I said before, is a fair shot. He gave us a fair shot. He treated the young men and women, they wanted to see him. He spoke to us, and he wasn't being egotistic about kings and queens and presidents he met. And the last thing I said to him, because myself and my command sergeant major were of Irish heritage from New York, we said, Mr. Jennings, when you get back, can you have a beer for us on St. Patrick's Day? And he promised.
So was there anybody else besides Peter Jennings?
Yeah, there was Andrew Stack from Fox News. And again, I found him fair and balanced to steal the mantra. And I've stayed in contact with Andrew Stack. Just all people want is fair. And then I had a very negative view with a New York newspaper who was very critical of my standards, right? And I remember him calling, is it true that a soldier lost a weapon and you held him like account? I said, yeah. I said, would you do me a favor? I said, call the New York City Police Department and find out what happens if they lose a weapon. It's 10 days pay. You can't just lose a weapon. But the media can't have it both ways. You can't be critical of the way Abu Ghraib was run in 2003, then a new commander comes in and runs it tight, and you want to be critical of that. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? And so I found that unfair.
Well, I will leave you with hoping that Sun City TV has treated you as fairly as Peter Jennings and the good media that you've encountered
You've
already.
been most fair, if I could shake your hand. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. This was great.
Well, last week we covered our Pickleball Club's fundraising efforts for Bluffton Self-Help and Agape. Today we speak about their efforts for Second Helpings and how our residents can help out.
I'm here with Amy Colin, who's the executive director of Second Helpings. And here to my right is Brian Fenlon. And Brian is the commissioner of Low Country Pickleball League.
Good morning.
Okay. And we're going to start ladies first, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, Amy, tell us a little bit about Second Helpings.
Second Helpings is the only food rescue organization in our 3 counties. So in Beaufort, Jasper, and Hampton County, every day, 6 days a week, our over 500 volunteers drive our trucks. We pick up food from over 45 donors, so your grocery stores, your restaurants, farms, and we deliver to 55 agencies, so your food pantries, your soup kitchens, and currently we're feeding about 13,000 people a week.
That's pretty amazing, absolutely amazing. And Amy, during certain holidays, I would think that you need a little bit more food. And I mean, hunger, like you say, all year long. But tell us about how we can do a little bit more during the holidays.
Yeah, I think that every family is looking for an opportunity to have a holiday celebration with their family. And in order to do that, we do take in extra food or host extra food drives this time of year in order to get a community meal out to everybody.
Okay. Now, I know you have Sun City residents that help out. In fact, our cameraman, Bob Grando, he drives this massive truck here. How can our Sun City residents help you?
Yeah, we currently have about 80 volunteers from Sun City who crew these trucks here in Sun City 6 days a week, 3 people per truck. Bob also organizes a group of volunteers that drive our trucks. So we're always looking for people to drive or crew. I crew on our trucks. It requires some light lifting. I like to say it's a good workout. But we also have opportunities to distribute fresh produce and proteins out into our community, and we do that once a month. And then we have event opportunities. So with Brian here, we partner with him, and we partner and have volunteers that come out and help on the court and support him.
Okay, so you don't have to be able to drive a big truck like this, right?
You don't.
You can do some events, and
Yes.
you can be a crew member.
Yeah, we also are always looking for food drive opportunities. I know in your different neighborhoods, some of your neighborhoods host food drives. Also an opportunity just for me to come in and speak with people and talk about Second Helpings and just share about the need in our community.
Okay, so if some of our people want to volunteer, what do they have to do?
Visit our website, secondhelpingslc.org.
Okay, well, thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
And Brian, it's your turn now. Okay, tell us a little bit about Low Country Pickleball Leagues.
So the Low Country Pickleball Leagues is an adult, 50 and older, currently pickleball leagues located here in the Low Country, South Carolina. We are privileged enough to have communities and teams come from Hilton Head Island all the way up to north of the Broad, and just about everything in between. When I took the league over, we were an LLC, and I knew there was more things that we could do for our community. So we converted to a 501c3, a nonprofit organization, with the intent to hold charitable events. I ran into Amy last year. We sponsored Second Helpings for not only as a fundraiser but for food drive. we invited Second Helpings to come to our pickleball tournament in the spring and bring their truck. And we managed to raise just over $13,000 for them and about 1,000 pounds of food. Afterwards, Amy called me up and asked me to come in. She wanted to sit down and have a conversation with me and give me more education as to what exactly Second Helpings does and what they're all about. I learned at that time that Second Helpings is the main food collection hub for most charities in this area. So at that point, we decided that we'll have Amy and her trucks, our fleet, show up at every single tournament that we host. And in addition to that, Amy told me a story that kind of hit the heart last year. There were approximately 146 requests for turkey last Thanksgiving, and I believe we only had 45 turkey to distribute. So that presented them with an issue, a problem. Who do we give the turkey to? Who do we say no to? So during that meeting, I made a commitment to Amy that the league will step in and do what we need to do to make sure our neighbors in need do not go hungry for the holidays. So this season, we attempted to hold our first annual turkey drive. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the tournament in on time. So in lieu of the tournament, I decided to reach out to our league membership and request donations from our league members. To date, we're roughly around $4,000.
Yeah, I just placed an order yesterday for 250 turkeys. So we're in progress.
Okay.
That makes me feel good, and it makes me feel privileged to be doing what I'm doing and to be honored to have such wonderful league members that are so charitable and giving. I feel very fortunate. I feel blessed to be able to do this. The league has also made a commitment on behalf of Second Helpings that we will donate up to 50% of the proceeds that we managed to raise for our turkey drive. And I also have another anonymous donor who will also contribute 50% up to $4,000. Wow. So we're hoping that we far and exceed what my expectations were from our generous members. And it's very heartfelt, heartwarming, and I feel privileged to be able to do this.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And you think you can top that next year?
That's the goal. Yeah, you always start somewhere. I mean, we'll be close to the $50,000 mark in fundraising for 5 charities that we sponsored. My goal is to exceed the $100,000 mark. So it's good to have goals. I want to have goals, and once I get to 100, then we'll see if we can get to 200. Okay. And food, obviously food is very important. Whether it's the holiday or not, as Amy said, hunger doesn't take a holiday. So. Again, I feel very fortunate enough to be in a position to help organizations like Second Helpings and Amy.
Well, it's wonderful, and you are to be commended for what your league is doing. And Amy and Brian, thank you so much for coming in and talking about Second Helpings and your charity work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Still much more ahead on Sun City News. Randy Selman's here with an entertainment report. And Mike Romano is standing by with sports news. So come on back. Here at Sun City TV, we bring you news from people you know, about people you know. Our weekly news show and 4 monthly shows cover the scope of Sun City happenings, neighborhood events, and of course, club and group activities. We love to catch you on camera. See all that Sun City has to offer by tuning into Hargrave 238 or Spectrum 1301, and always on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SCTV station.
Sun City TV invites you to join our crew. Our growing technology presence requires enthusiastic, creative volunteers. No previous TV experience needed. Email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com.
Now let's get some entertainment news from Randy Selman.
With the weather becoming cooler, you might want to step inside to enjoy some great music. Pickney Hall is offering an Irish coffee night all through November. Mark your calendars for November 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 18th, 20th, and 25th. The evening will be presenting a variety of entertainers for your listening pleasure. Just a reminder, You Can't Take It With You will be performed on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, November 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th. You Can't Take It With You is a humorous and touching reflection on happiness, family, and living life with authenticity. You can pick up tickets at the Magnolia Hall Theater every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 until 11 a.m. You Can't Take It With You is the last production for 2025. However, the Sun City Theater Club is planning a blockbuster season beginning in March. The Broadway hit musical 9 to 5 starts off the season. Based on the popular movie of the same name, the story follows 3 women who join forces against their egotistical, sexist boss to teach him a lesson he'll never forget. This is a musical filled with Dolly Parton songs and a story filled with humor. The club will be staging One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This play takes place in a mental institution controlled by the rigid and domineering Nurse Ratched, whose strict routines stifle the patients until the arrival of the rebellious new patient, Randall P. McMurphy, who is determined to shake things up inside the ward. The show opens in June. More about the upcoming season in weeks to come. I'm Randy Selman, and that's your entertainment report. Remember, life is entertaining, so don't miss the show.
Let's head over to Mike Romano for sports news.
Hello, sports fans. The 2025 Bocce Championship will be held the week of November 17th. The event is open to all Sun City residents. Contact Roy Powers, the Bocce Club president, for more details. The Sun City Pickleball Club introduced an addition of a new mixed doubles ladder league. The league is based on a player's DUPR. DUPR stands for Dynamic Universal Pickleball Rating. This competitive league will begin November 1st and run to December. Charlie Kent, the director of golf here at Sun City, recently announced that Adam Gerlach is leaving Sun City to take a position as golf operations manager at Hague Point. In addition, Kevin Foley will take over as head golf pro at Okatee Creek. Frank O'Connell will join the golf staff as the Argent Lakes golf pro. Charlie also announced that Erica Boyd joined the staff as tournament director. In other golf news, the big winners of the latest Men's Golf Association competition were Mel Wagner, Randy Campbell, Wesley Waite, and Frank Church. The group shot a combined 22 under par to take home first place winnings of $15. Congratulations to all. In the croquet championships, here we see the champions. The ladies' champion is 93-year-young Elaine Cormier. Congratulations, Elaine. The men's champ is John Loveridge. Congratulations, John. As you can see, champions come in all ages. That's all for sports. It's now time to get outside and get some sun. For Sun City Sports, I'm Mike Romano.
Well, that's our news for this week. Thank you for watching. Catch us on cable and on our YouTube station, where we invite you to click like and subscribe. To see expanded coverage of some of our SCTV stories, tune into our monthly show, Extra. And if you have questions and comments, email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com. But make sure you check in with us next week for all the news that's in your neighborhood. For Sun City News, I'm Norma Taylor.